You can't be a good fellow and a good mayor at the same time. I intend to continue to be a good mayor.
Despite the difficulty of the job, and considering the magnitude of his achievements, LaGuardia was also loved by the people of the city of New York for his warmth and humility, and Fiorello wanted it that way.
Fiorello, did you have a busy day?
Gosh, I'm tired.
Guess what we're going to have for dinner tonight?
What?
Pasta fagioli.
Welcome. I'm here in celebration of one of New York's greatest citizens, Mayor Fiorello LaGuardia. Unfortunately, Mayor Bloomberg could not be here tonight. As you know, he's traveling in China and asked me to send his regrets and to represent him. Mayor LaGuardia was famous for saying there's no Republican or Democratic way to clean the streets. That sums up Mayor Bloomberg's philosophy on government as well. During my work as Deputy Mayor for Health and Human Services, I found many similarities between Mayor Bloomberg and Mayor LaGuardia. Besides, of course, their similar height. It's so liberating having him halfway across the world. Mayor LaGuardia was not only charismatic and inspirational, he was elected 3 times because he got big things done. He worked to secure federal funding for many public works programs. He reformed city government and increased social programs. He left behind an unprecedented legacy of physical improvements, and he led New York City into the modern era.
What's really wonderful is this house. And this house was created, in a sense, it existed since 1798, but it was created as the mayor's residence by Mayor LaGuardia. And there isn't anyone that I know who doesn't remember him. I never met him, but I remember so well the comics. That's not made up, it was true. That during the strike, he read the comics, and it was very important. But the most important thing he did was he brought in people who loved New York to serve in the city administration, and that was exceptional. The people who came into New York City to serve New York City at the time of LaGuardia created a whole new approach to government. Every mayor since LaGuardia has tried to emulate and to copy, and none of us ever get close, but we all see him as the best mayor that the city ever had and probably will ever have.
Our foundation, it carries on the work of Mayor LaGuardia that he was involved in at the time of his death. He was Secretary General. Many people don't know that he had a very big and active international career. When I have traveled throughout Italy, Mayor LaGuardia remains a hero in Italy. And he is credited with having brought relief to starving post-war Europe, and he is remembered to this day. We are very pleased that Mayor Bloomberg has agreed to accept the LaGuardia Leadership Award, with Mayor Bloomberg representing the vision of New York's at the climate change meeting in Bali. We think that is something that Fiorello himself would have done.
LaGuardia, as I say, was mayor for 12 years, and in that short period of time, accomplished everything he has done. In that 12 years, never took a day off, never took a vacation in 12 years. And when he became mayor, he cut his salary in half. So he was a man of the people, for the people. And when he passed away, he only had $8,000 in his whole life.
You know, when I was your mayor in 1934, I became the 99th mayor of New York City, and the first of Italian ancestry. At my inauguration, I said, to the victor belongs the responsibility of good government, and that we would clean house and clean it thoroughly. And then as soon as I was sworn in, I said, arrest Lucky Luciano. You see, the city of New York was in my blood from the very day I was born, on Varick Street in Greenwich Village. When my parents first came here, they were called Wops and Dagos. the Jews were called kikes and yids. Well, I could be called both, you see. That because my mother, maiden name Koch, was 1/4 Venetian Jew. When I was born here, to be an Italian and a Jew made you a true third-class citizen. Now, don't think just because I get after my commissioners that there aren't some crackerjacks among them. You take our Parks Commissioner, Robert Moses. Please, somebody take him. Now, we've had our differences. In fact, he could be a royal pain in the old tuchus. But His Grace used money brilliantly. You see, thanks to Moses, we've given you 14 public housing developments, 15 outdoor swimming pools, 25 hospitals, 95 new schools, 340 new playgrounds, 360 tennis courts, 2 airports, the Belt Parkway and the Marine Parkway in Brooklyn, the Bronx Whitestone Bridge, the Triborough Bridge, the Reese Park Bridge in Queens, the Queens Midtown Tunnel, the Lincoln Tunnel, and don't forget the Brooklyn Battery Tunnel, the Grand Central Parkway, the East River Drive, and the Henry's Hudson Parkway. Why, when all our work is finished, driving your own car in New York City will become a pleasure. I once dreamed of a city called heaven, and I tried to make it my New York. My friends, you gave me a job, and I did it. I now ask you to carry on with patience and fortitude. And years from now, when I've long passed on, maybe someday, someone will say, what this city needs is another LaGuardia.